Welcome to The Real with Joseph Labman. I am Joseph Labman. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of The Real, taking time out of your day to come watch this episode. I really appreciate that. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe for me. I'd really appreciate that as well. That's the best way you can support this channel and help me grow my content and grow this channel to where I'd like it to be. Everybody hit the like button for me on the way in on this video today. That also helps promote this video more in the algorithms, helps grow this channel more as well. Please share this content. I would really appreciate that. My guests would as well. If you would please share this episode with someone you know that maybe is interested in the topic we're talking about today. Please leave a comment below as well. We'd love to hear your guys' feedback. You can interact with myself and the guest on the panel and the live chat as well. Whatever we're talking about, just leave a comment there in the live chat. Pop in and say hello. We'll put it on the screen for you. And yeah, without further ado, let's get to the show. Welcome back to The Real with Joseph Labman. I have Joseph Labman. Thank you for tuning in tonight. Like I said, if you're new here, please hit the subscribe button for me. I'd really appreciate that. Like this video right now. Let's get it pumping in the algorithms tonight. Yeah, we're going to have an action-packed show tonight. Should be a lot of fun, although even though we're reacting to the Browns lost today, but the panel night will be a lot of fun, so I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, where do we start with this loss today? A bad Browns loss today. The Browns lose to the Giants 21-15 at home. The Browns are now 0-2 in the season at home. Last year they were 8-1, had the best home league record, or best home record across the entire league. They now might be worse than the league, so that's something. But you know, this game started off really strong for the Browns. You know, they had the kickoff, the new dynamic kickoff, as they call it. Got the fumble recovery right down there at the 20-yard line. Recovered the ball. You know, the Browns come out first play of scrimmage. Deshaun Watson throws a beautiful dime down the sideline to Amari Cooper, who on this show last week I called Amari Pooper the way he was playing. But he was Amari Cooper today, the guy that I expected to see. So, you know, shout out to you, Amari Cooper. He played well today. And I take back what I said. But Deshaun throws a touchdown pass. You're thinking, okay, we're off to a great start. We're at home. The energy and the stadium was electric. You know, it looked like a game where I'm thinking, okay, maybe the Browns can really take over this game. You're playing against a bad New York Giants team. But that wasn't the case. You know, now the Giants did punt. You know, the defense held them to a 3-and-out the next, you know, their first drive. But what did the Browns do? Punt. You know, the offense started to stall a little bit. Deshaun Watson, that first drive, I think, was sacked twice in the first drive. It looked bad. The O-line right away, you could tell, did not look good. Jedrick Wills, who, you know, didn't play all preseason, wasn't part of training camp ever. We haven't heard much about Jed Wills, if anything. He was the most, I mean, it was the most quiet injury we ever heard. Or just his status was so unknown. We never heard anything. Anybody covers the team, watches the team, knows we heard nothing for weeks, for months, rather. And he's out there playing today against a pretty good Giants front with Brian Burns, you know, Thibodeau and those guys, Dexter Lawrence. And I look out there and there's Jed Wills playing. And I listen, I get Jed I'm glad. I hope Jed's okay. I don't wish anybody get hurt, obviously. It's just a game. You know, I care about somebody's more health and safety. Number one, obviously, he's a human being. But his play today was not great. He looked out of shape, which is my concern. He didn't look like somebody who was prepared to play football. Why he was thrown out there today when he barely practiced all summer, and from based on the information we were given, what we've seen, Jed Wills was not ready to play football today. I don't know why he was out there. And when he was out there, it wasn't pretty. DeJuan Jones, who I've been high on, probably had the worst game of his career today as a pro. DeJuan Jones was not good. That O-line was not good at all. I mean, it was so bad today. We got to the point where Joel Bitonio was out there at left tackle. And, you know, love Joel Bitonio, you know, great player, but he's too old to be out there left tackle with these young guys nowadays. You know, defensive line are more athletic now than they ever have been, really. I mean, there's a good argument of that. So, but, you know, after that our second drive, you know, the Giants go down 13 plays, 81-yard touchdown drive, 7 minutes and 44 seconds. And that was their whole game plan. It was the same thing Dallas did defensively, which was pressure. We don't think your O-line's that good. And we don't think your receivers can create separation consistently, but also chewing time out the clock, time of possession, dominating the game. And he loved Martin Emerson. I think he's had a great career so far. But he got worked today by Malik Neighbors, the rookie. Malik Neighbors put Martin Emerson in a blender today. Malik Neighbors was unbelievable today. I think he had maybe 2 touchdowns today, maybe 3. I think it was 2. whatever it was. He had a hell of a game, and completely just the first half. Martin Emerson was on him, and he was having a hard time with Malik Neighbors. And so the Browns, though, continued to punt fest, punt, punt, punt. Before the halftime, the Giants scored again twice. The second drive, they scored 14 plays, 93 yards, 6 minutes, 51 seconds put off that clock. The Browns, after that, fumbled the ball. That's a good sign because, we're the most pressured team in the league going into today. We've allowed the most pressures, but yet we still do the same game planning and the, same stuff. But, trust the analytics, right? So, and that fumble there, Deshaun was sitting in the pocket. Brian Burns comes around the corner, strip sack. Ball gets on the ground, and they recover the ball in plus territory, by the way, before the half. And in 4 plays, 30 yards, they score again. Now they're up 21-7 at the half. So the Browns come out of the half. Their first drive coming out of the halftime after that horrific first half where the Giants just dominated you. You can't block you can't block anything. A chair, right? You can't block anything. 3 straight plays, all passes, -2 yards in 59 seconds. We come out of the half, and mind you, I forgot to point this out. We ran the ball 6 times in the first half. 6 times, and we allowed the most pressures in the league going into this week, most penalized team in the league as well. I don't know what the hell went on at Berea training camp this summer, but that had been the worst training camp that ever occurred at that facility. Probably just as bad as the 0-16 team, the way they look. To be the most penalized team in the league, to be this bad, to be the most pressures in the league, to look so unprepared, to look so undisciplined. You had a horrible training camp, in my opinion. I mean, I don't know the way to put it. I mean, I get these guys don't want to play in preseason nowadays and all that, which you should have played in the preseason, like some other good organizations do, but we don't do that here. Yeah, I just second half, the third quarter was okay. It wasn't great until the end of the third quarter. The Giants, though, as bad as a team they are, they look like a team that's trying to tank. They play like it. They fumbled the ball. We missed a field goal off of that. We didn't get any points out of that. Then it was punt, 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 punt forever. Teams were just going back and forth. And the Browns finally, towards the end of the third quarter, put together a nice drive. They're down 21-7 still, but they go down the field. Deshaun starts to get a rhythm. They start to get a nice little groove going. They score the ball. They even convert the 2-point conversion. Now it's 21-15 going into the fourth quarter. Beginning of the fourth quarter. That stadium's rocking. Everybody, I'm sitting there thinking, man, geez, we could still win this game miraculously. As bad as we played, we could still steal it because the Giants are just a bad team. It looks like they're trying to tank. And the Browns have all the momentum. They scored a touchdown, 21-15. The Giants punt the ball. The defense stepped up and did what they needed to do. Defense in the second half, especially in the fourth quarter, was a lot better. They cleaned up some things. I thought Schwartz was making some adjustments. The Browns had the ball at midfield. They're driving. Jerome Ford, who had actually a pretty good game. It was a draw play. Deshaun goes ahead on the ball, and Jerome Ford fumbles the ball. And you could just feel the air and that just the stadium, the energy was just sucked out of the stadium. But the defense still held up. Still got to stop in spite of that. Because when that fumble happened, I was like, man, this game's over. We blew it. All the chances in the world. We gave it away. No, we still had a shot. And, we come out the next drive, and we get down to third down. I think it was 3rd and 1. We bring in Jameis Winston for the predictable sneak. And Jameis Winston gets stuffed, literally, by Dexter Lawrence. And then we come out the next play on 4th down, and we run an RPO with Deshaun. So you run the ball the 3rd down, and then you come out on the 4th and 1, and, hey, let's run an RPO. And the linebacker took Jerome Ford out of the backfield, so that first option was gone. And it was a quick slant to Amari was the second option. There was some collision that happened. So Deshaun, the only choice he had was to try to run up the middle and try to extend the ball. I thought the spot was a little closer when they gave him, but it probably was still short. But either way, not great, And then again, the Giants missed the field goal once again. They gave us another shot. They get the ball back. They miss a field goal to try to make it basically, if they would have made the field goal, it would put the game out at that point. And that drive, the Browns, they come out. Let's see here. So they get the ball out of the first play was a 6-yard completion to Amari Cooper. The 2nd and 4 now. Deshaun Watson, incomplete pass to Amari Cooper. 3rd and 4 now. Deshaun Watson, incomplete pass left to Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper's injured on that play. So you have the ball in hand with 3 minutes left. You're only down one score. You throw the first play, the second play, and the third play. And then the fourth play, Deshaun Watson pass incomplete short in the middle to Cedric Tillman. And Mr. Cedric Tillman there, as you could see, completely dropped the ball. It was a great throw by Deshaun. Might have been the best throw actually Deshaun's made this season. I'd be honest with you. As tight as the coverage was in that moment, that point of the game, and Cedric Tillman dropped it. As you can see there, the ball's dropped, and that kind of like summed up the game. And it's why I put in my thumbnail today, a day late and a dollar short. We got a lot we're gonna get into tonight. There's a lot more I can keep saying. I just can't believe what I saw today. I'm looking at Kevin Stefanski a lot today. You were the most pressured team coming into today's game, giving up pressure wise. Deshaun Watson got sacked 8 times today. 8. Right? So he got sacked 8 times. He played good enough in the fourth quarter to give you a shot to win. And you didn't really help him out. And the team didn't play complimentary ball consistently the whole game at all. The first half was horrific. You only ran the ball 6 times, and when you did run the ball, it was effective with Jerome Ford. Look, man, this is beyond the loss today. This loss today was bigger than the Giants. This game itself, I mean, the Browns are just the offensively they were not well put together. The pieces do not fit with the coach and the scheme you're trying to run. The personnel does not match what they're trying to do, and it shows on the field because they don't have an identity. They didn't have one last year. And I get Flacco came in, and Flacco, it's a more older school quarterback, but you saw in the playoff game how far that gets you. You got to have a guy that can win you multiple playoff games to be successful in this league. And that's why you paid Deshaun Watson $230 million. You thought he could be the guy to get that done. But the way they've set it up and the pieces they have around him and just all together, the whole thing, not only just on the field and the sideline, but up in the front office as well. I mean, the report came out this week, the Browns are the most analytical team still in the league. And you saw those kind of analytical calls today again that cost you the game. I mean, just like they said, that third down, let's bring Jameson on third down, and then let's try an RPO on the fourth down. Just like simple things that just they don't seem to get sometimes, like in terms of just calling plays, setting things up, and just I don't know. It looks lost. Like I don't know what to say. Like it just looks bad. Like it's just bad. It was a bad loss, and you still had, in spite of all the bad play you still had a shot to win that game. I mean, New York was basically handing you the game. Like, we really want the number 1 pick or top 5 pick this spring. Can you please win us this game, Browns? I mean, come on, my gosh, you can win one for once, and we still didn't win it. It was that bad, and so. I don't know where to go. Although I will say, I do think there's more fans. You can't blame Deshaun Watson today. You can't say we should have kept Baker today. You can't say all this other shit we've been hearing for the last 2 weeks, because the same stuff you saw week 1 is the same stuff you saw today in terms of just protection, the game plan. The main issue is still the main issue. And I saw a lot of fans. You can see here today. This was on Stefanski's press conference after the game. I highlighted some fans in the comments down there. You can see there, you're a horrible play caller. Stefanski, give up the play calling. You're done. Give up play calling. Take responsibility, Kevin. So you're seeing a lot of fans starting to get fed up with Kevin Stefanski now. More than we've seen probably ever. I think the more I've seen, I haven't seen as much Kevin Stefanski criticism than I've seen today from fans. So I'm interested to see what other guys have to say tonight. Before we get into it, though, my man TuneIn Sports, go subscribe to TuneIn Sports, number 1 Cavs YouTuber out there. He's getting ready for the Cavs season coming up. I'll be over there on his channel, chop it up with talking all things Cavs. Him and his guys over there. Go subscribe to TuneIn Sports. He's got a nice channel over there. Check him out. He says, "Salute, man. I think y'all need. I needed y'all to beat the Giants. LOL, damn." He also said, "Yeah, I don't think it's on Watson this game." Yeah, it's not tuning in. I don't know, bro. I don't even know where to start with this one. This is a bad game today. But I got a loaded lineup for you guys tonight. First up, I'm gonna bring up. You guys have seen Jersey. Jersey was up here last week, and he's been up here. Also, today we got Gergs up here as well. Gergs watched the game today. Our fellow Lions fan, Gergs, welcome on in. Long time no see. He's. I've been waiting for this appearance. It's not Dan. It's Kevin. And we also have a new guest up here tonight.
All the way from Chi-Town.
My man Joey DiBiasio is making his debut here on the Reel. Joey, welcome on in, brother.
Man, what's going on?
Welcome on in. Dad, I'll let you go first. Sorry for my long rant, but I had a lot to get off my chest in this game. It was just that bad today. Go ahead, Dad.
Well, I chose not to watch it because it's the same old, same old. So, your mom and I went out and did some things today, but I listened to it on the radio. I was in the car the whole time, but I listened to it on the radio and, could visualize exactly what we've seen the whole time Stefanski's been here. It's the same thing. It's just a sputtering offense. It just seems disorganized. It just doesn't make sense because it's ran basically on pure analytics. Like you said, I mean, it's guys who just have, basic knowledge or just decent knowledge of football. They didn't play college football or pro football. We look at these plays, we're like, why are these assholes throwing up first down every possession? I mean, I looked at the box score. We ran 63 plays. We had 16 run plays. They ran 50% run play. I mean, it's you're never going to win. It's never ever happened. And it's the same thing that's been going on since Stefanski became the coach. It happened with Baker. Now it's happening with Watson. You look at Baker. I'm going to go back to it. Look what he's doing now. He got out of this system. So I don't care who you throw back there. It's the same old result. And I just got to watch the replays, the highlights before I came on, but it's hard to tell. But when you watch the game and you just look at the consecutive plays, you're just constantly scratching your head. I just don't understand how you can run the ball 25% of the time. And think you can win the game. So the penalties, it all goes back to coaching. Every bit of this goes back to coaching. And I'm losing my patience with it where I'm going to watch them if the weather's crappy or if it's a night game because I love Cleveland. I love the Cleveland fans. I love the players. I just can't. I'm just getting tired of this front office because you're not seeing growth. You just want to see growth. You want to see change, and it's the same shit. And we're going to continue to have these same discussions, these same topics. It's just going to keep going on till that front office is gone. And then it leads me to this: like, what are they doing with Vrabel? I mean, what is that guy doing? I mean, he's got to be scratching his head. What's the plan with that guy? So,
by the way, I looked up real quick the teams with the highest passing rate in the NFL right now. The teams that throw the ball the most. Number 1, Vegas. Number 2, the Rams. Number 3, Cincinnati. Number 4, Denver. Number 5, the Browns. All 5 of those teams have a losing record, 1-2 or 0-2. But keep throwing the ball.
Right.
The hell with old football fundamentals and the stuff that lasted in the game all these years, and the teams that are most successful keep doing. Even teams like Kansas City will commit to the run at times with Pacheco, or make things simpler on their quarterback because Andy Reid's just a good coach. But
it's here that the run game has never been defeated. It's never going to happen unless they change the game entirely. But I don't know how this guy got an extension. I don't know how people are in this guy's corner.
And we don't know how many years. It just said it's a multi-year extension. They never told us how many years and the money amount.
I'm not allowed to discuss that.
Hopefully it's a lease to own. Hopefully he's an LTO. He's month to month.
I'm not allowed to discuss my contract.
Right. Dan, don't you hope he's an LTO? Please be on an LTO.
Kevin Stefanski, you want to take it from here, bud?
Sure. Well, first of all, I appreciate you guys having me on the show.
Always.
I'd like to remind everybody this is the National Football League, and there are no real gimme games. But if there was a gimme game, it would be against the New York Giants at home. And the minute the game ended, I hopped in my Subaru Forester and drove to Chicago, which is where I'm joining the show from currently. So, first and foremost, I want to remind the entire show and all its viewers that I am a 2-time Coach of the Year. I also went to the University of Penn, which is Ivy League, so I don't expect anyone on this show to understand what I'm doing when I'm on a football field. And I also wonder where Mike Antonese is, and I want to thank him for all the letters he's written me for the past 2 years, telling me how much he loves me. Despite my record, despite my mediocrity, despite the fact that I'm burning through the greatest Browns roster in the history of the franchise. So with that being said, I'm ready to take questions, obviously. I know there's some questions about the Jameis play and the 3rd and 1 obvious quarterback sneak. I did some calculations with my team, and I realized that it was actually so obvious that the other team would think it's too obvious to even run, which is why I called it.
Coach, I have a question.
Yes. Go ahead.
Is Mike keeping the lines in your yard straight when he's mowing your yard?
You gotta stay poised, coached.
Yeah.
Trust the analytics.
He hasn't been over for yard work yet. I heard he was dabbling in a few different career paths along the way and hadn't fully committed to horticulture yet. So we haven't made that step in our relationship. But if you see me distracted, I'm actually playing a 6-year-old in Madden from Finland on the screen over here.
Hey, Coach, I got a reaction to. Actually, I'm gonna play a clip of something you said earlier after the game. I'm just curious. Maybe you got a second opinion on it. Let me play the clip real quick. 1 second.
You talk about the way that Deshaun scrapped and fought and clawed to try to pull this thing out.
Yeah, I mean, it's not for lack of effort, and obviously Deshaun gives you everything he has. He can't get sacked that many times, can't get hit that many times. It's just that's not good enough, and that's on me, and that's on us to get that fixed.
All right, Coach. Well, you said that's on you to get it fixed. You guys have allowed the most pressures in the league going into this week. Your quarterback got hit 8 times today. Got sacked 8 times, rather. And I'm just curious, we saw this week 1 and week 2, and you're also the most penalized team. That's another thing we get into. But what are you doing during practice during the week and your game planning to fix this?
Well, when Deshaun arrived, I don't think it's shocking news to anybody that he wasn't necessarily my guy per se or fit my system per se. And, I know his talent level's there, and I know what he brings to the team. And we're so invested in him that I really figured the only way out of this mess, being that it's probably him or me or both of us simultaneously, is that I'm going to line up every week and just try to get him injured. So what I like to do is I like to bring some of the worst offensive linemen into the program, line them up, healthy, non-healthy, whatever it is, and drop him back about 3 times as many times as we run the ball in hopes that one day he'll get rolled up on again, and I can put whatever suitable, mediocre backup that can run my vanilla offense in there to make me look good again.
So just making the playoffs, getting the playoff revenue is just the goal.
No, what I'm really hoping happens, I hope we have a couple more injuries along the way. I hope we go through some real hard times, get to about a 50-50 record halfway through the season, and then just put on that sudden burst at the end, enough to get in the first round of the playoffs and get blown out by 30. So I'm handed my 3rd Coach of the Year trophy.
Beautiful. Have you scouted any college quarterbacks yet?
Not looking that far ahead. Focused on Vegas, focused on where the team hotel is, and making sure I'm keeping it in a safe place from Deshaun.
Okay. Last question. How much are you in the analytics during the week? I mean, are you reading that day and night? Is how much is Paul DePodesta calling you while you're making the game plan right there, telling you what to do?
I play a lot of Madden. I try not to quit the game before it's over. I like to go next level with some of the play calling, and just when the entire world would run the ball and everyone that has ever coached a football game would always run the ball, I like to think that they know I'm going to run the ball, and then in turn call an RPO or some type of option or some type of end around or something that really, really pins us back and gives me the opportunity to really make a great play call in the next one to bail us out.
Yeah, you do like calling plays that go backwards, don't you, Kev?
Well, you got to dress it up sometimes. That's how you get these trophies.
Yeah.
Coach, I got one more really important question. What kind of wax does Mike put on your Forester?
They're old Xylon packets left over.
Oh, so you got some Xylon he took with him, huh?
Yep. But man, don't question it too much. Like I said, I did go to the University of Penn. It's an Ivy League program. And I feel like I'm just naturally smarter than everybody that's on the sideline, despite the fact that all of them know I need replaced, and I have my replacement already in office next to me.
All right. Kevin Stefanski, ladies and gentlemen.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
No problem. See you on the next loss.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Oh, man.
Shit. Joey, you want to go ahead and make your debut, bud? What do you got on this game today?
Man.
How do you follow that one up?
I don't know. Well, thank you for having me on the show as well.
Absolutely.
I do appreciate it.
How long have you been? You want to introduce yourself real quick, or Dad? You want to help out? Actually, Joey and I actually went to high school together when I was a freshman at CVCA. I actually didn't know Joe like that, but I do remember seeing him. But we were there together. He was a senior. I was a freshman. So we were around each other back then. Joey worked with my dad at Vanderveer. Oh, excuse me, I should have said, but at his old prior dealership. And now they work together at their current dealership. And so, yeah, Joey's part of our family. Great kid, great guy. And he's been a long time Browns fan as well. So, Joey, your take on the game today?
No, thanks, man. Yeah, I appreciate it. It's like Joe, I was listening on the radio as well. I didn't get a chance to see it, but I did see some highlights as well on it. But pretty much like every 5 minutes was Deshaun Watson sacked. There was no protection, from what I understood. Maybe he held on the ball sometimes. Maybe the line was just that bad. But, I'll tell you what, I think we definitely miss Bill Callahan for sure. I think the O-line just looks atrocious this year. Can't protect him, and Deshaun can't get rid of the ball quick enough. So I think it's just a mix of the two. But, ultimately, I agree with you guys. I think it falls on the coaching staff. I think it falls on Stefanski, we just look so unprepared. Like you said, Joe, there's no identity with this team. Nobody's afraid of us. Nobody's scared of us. It just looks like we're going through the motions right now, and nobody just seems to care. It's tough to watch as a Browns fan, but ultimately it does, fall on the coaching and upper management. But you got to get these guys ready, and the only one that looks ready is Corey Bojorquez, man. He's our MVP so far.
Yeah.
But everyone else just looks like they're going through the motions.
Great punter, big math guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't know. Yeah, I didn't know the Scottish Hammer was still in the league too. I saw him out there punting today for the Giants.
He did us his favors today with that touchback.
Yeah. Gergs. Well, number one, Gergs, how'd your Lions do today?
They got that dub.
All right, Lions got that, and I saw Michigan welcomed USC to the Big Ten yesterday. By running the ball down their throat, literally. And still,
what's running the ball?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, a team that actually, and I think was it the quarterback Orgio. He only threw the ball for a all-time low 23 yards, and they still won the game because they just do it.
We're so desperate. Bring Sharon Moore to Cleveland.
Yeah, maybe we can establish.
At least we'll run the ball.
Yeah. But yeah, USC got welcomed to the Big Ten. But Gergs, your thoughts on you watched today's game?
Where's Mike?
I can't get a hold of him.
Imagine.
Can't get a hold of him. I'll try calling. I'll mute myself. Try calling him real quick.
He drove me here.
Right.
Hey,
he's ironing.
He was waiting with the getaway car. He was waiting with the getaway car.
this might be one of the worst Browns losses I've ever seen. You go up 7-0 after the start, and you're at home, and you just completely poop the bed. I couldn't believe what I was watching. I mean, you don't run the ball, you drop back, you drop back, you drop back. It's just so predictable. The Giants, they're good at rushing the passer. Brian Burns, Dexter Lawrence, that's just what they do, and you just play right into what they do. You run the ball with Jerome Ford 10 times. No running back can get going, getting the ball 6 times in the first half.
Well, we didn't give it to him 6 the first half, just 2.
Oh, yeah, well, sorry, 6 total times in the first half. And then you come out in the second half and you think you maybe had just, you know what, we had embarrassing first half. Let's just come out and establish dominance and come back. And then you drop back 3 more times for a 3 and out. What is that? It's not football. It's not football. The fact that the New York Giants came into Cleveland, were down 7-0 before you could blink, and just went ahead and just won the game by a rookie, and made Daniel Jones look good. which
Right.
is something,
Yeah.
which is something that no football team has done in 2 years. It is just amazing to me.
The guys on the radio said Daniel Jones is having a game of his career today against the Browns.
The only team that's stupid enough to pay Daniel Jones $100 million were both the teams in Cleveland today.
Oh my gosh!
Man,
It's just, honestly, I can't. I couldn't believe what I was watching, but then again, I could.
Well, get
Right,
used to it, boys, because I'm around for a few more years.
You really can. You can really believe it. You know what I mean? We say that like facetiously. We say, "I can't believe what the hell they're," but actually, you can believe it. I think if they were doing the total opposite, I'd be like, "I can't believe what the hell I'm seeing." I mean, if they ran it on first down and then maybe second down, and won some games and didn't have 10 penalties. I mean, I'd be stunned. I'd go play the lottery. Keen.
You're just you're playing into team. I mean, you can't block, so why are you dropping back so much? Your defense is now getting exhausted because you're going 3 and out, going backwards. It's just a terrible formula of football. It's just terrible.
well, not only that, I'm looking at the box score here, and I'm looking at the Giants threw the ball 35 times today. We threw it 37, right? We ran the ball 18 times. They ran the ball 32 times. That's
Right.
a balanced attack. Like Urban Meyer used to always say, you want to be balanced, all right? Great offenses are always balanced. I ran the ball for 112 yards, threw the ball with 228, total 340 yards. The Browns' total yards, 217.
A lot of money, just a lot of money tied up in that offense at 217 yards.
I'm gonna take all those numbers and put them in my TI-83 and be ready for next Sunday against the Raiders.
And the Browns had the Giants were down in the red zone 4 times today. The Browns were down there 1 time. 1 time we made it to the red zone against the Giants. It's that bad. Like,
Great drive.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
what an offense they've established. I mean, my goodness, Jerry Jeudy, Tillman. I mean, Tillman's hands have somehow been made of bricks.
at least
and-
Amari Cooper looked decent today.
Yeah,
He was great.
He did. He looked good, but he still can't separate from anyone.
No.
No one can separate on that team. They're missing Njoku big time. He's their middle of the field guy, but I don't know if it would even matter. That offense is terrible, and the fact that he's an offensive guy is even just more hilarious. I mean, you'd expect this maybe from like Dan Quinn. or an offensive head coach that wants to, or defensive head coach. But my God, you're an offensive head coach and your offense looks like that. I mean, it's just amazing to me. Daniel Jones and a rookie wide receiver just oh my God.
Yeah, I don't get it. I'm curious, what do you guys think? I mean, I've been saying on the show for a while now, you said he's an offensive guy and it looks this bad, but I think it's just because he's trying to do both. He's trying to be a head coach and an offensive coordinator, and he's shown you consistently that he can't manage both. As I reached out to the former college coach under Meyer's staff, and I asked him about it. Head coaches are pulled in so many different directions. I mean, at one point today when they were on defense, I'm looking over, they showed Kevin on the sideline while we're in the middle of a crucial defensive drive. We need to stop. He's over there staring at the tablet, talking in the mic, not focused on what's going on in the game because he's getting pulled in that side of the ball because he is the play caller. I just don't think he can manage both. I've been saying on this show for a while. He's right there on the screen there with some of the people in the comments today on the Browns channel after the game were putting in there, you need to give up play calling. This is bad.
At this point, I question if he can even manage a car wash.
Yeah, I think you guys are giving me too much credit at this point. I really don't do anything except call horrible plays.
Yeah, time for you to be a CEO.
I let Jim take care of the defense. He's great at it. He's taken our program a long way, and I just I keep everybody guessing, including myself. Half the time, the players don't even know why we're doing the things we're doing. But sometimes the biggest geniuses are the most misunderstood.
So here I have some stats today for you guys that I can kind of just show the viewers, what good offenses do. So the Minnesota Vikings obviously have the top offense with way less talent than the Cleveland Browns. And they beat a really good team 34-7 today. And they threw the ball 28 times and ran the ball 28 times.
Balance.
So then we'll go to the Philadelphia Eagles. Okay. 2-1, good offense, threw the ball 38 times, ran the ball 25 times. All right. So let's go to the Detroit Lions. Why not, right?
Your favorite.
Yep. Good. One of the best offenses. Threw the ball 23 times. Here's a good one. Ran the ball 43 times for 187 yards. Threw the ball for 186 yards. It's
like a whole season for me.
Yeah. It's here. The Green Bay Packers ran the ball 37 times, threw the ball 20 times.
Not big math guys in Wisconsin.
It's pretty. But here's one I really want you guys to see. The 1-2 Chicago Bears threw the ball 52 times and ran the ball 28 times because that's what losing teams do. They throw the ball way more than they run it. And Coach, that is unfortunate.
Coach, what do you have to say about that?
Well, I like to go a little bit against the grain with my play calling. I know how other teams win games, and I've seen how other coaches win trophies. And all I know is my way of play calling has won me 2 trophies as Coach of the Year. So I will continue to disappoint all the local fans. I see all the Browns fans every Sunday having a great time when they get to the stadium and partying in the Muni and starting at 5 a.m. And what I like to do is spend the first 2 quarters of the game really sobering them up to make sure they're safe and driving home. When I was running to my Subaru Forester after the game, I was being chased by 2 guys with pitchforks, one of them without pants on and the other dressed as an insane clown posse member, yelling "Go Browns!" And I just thought to myself, I'm so glad that I'm here for another 3 years.
Well, now that you've demoralized the team again, what do you do to get them up for next week?
We're going to look at the tape. I'm going to plug some things into my calculator. I'm going to run some things in the Abacus, and I'm going to play a couple simulations of Madden with a half-injured Browns team that I've assembled to this point and see what we come up with and cook up. And I know the last thing I'm going to do is hand off the ball. That's not going to happen.
Yeah, why would you do that?
Well, you're going to play against a Vegas team that just lost at home to Andy Dalton and
Yep.
the Carolina Panthers. But one thing's for sure, Max Crosby's probably going to sack Deshaun Watson 5 times, and Christian Wilkes might just break his collarbone.
Well, I obviously don't root for injury for any of my players at all. I didn't anticipate that type of trouble for Deshaun. My goal was to get us a hotel close enough to the Spearmint Rhino to get him in another form of trouble.
Yeah, Coach, I actually found some. I think. Oh yeah, here we go. Here's some fans' reaction today. I mean, we got this fan here. I mean, he was just crying as you were walking by and going to the locker room.
Yeah.
This fan,
Yeah.
told you run the ball, Kevin. I know you probably didn't look at that shirt ever, did you?
Yeah, I saw the shirt. I saw it.
Yeah.
I think he spit on me.
Yeah. Oh, that guy spit on you?
Yeah.
When? When are we gonna actually, look like
that's a Brady Quinn jersey, so that was a long time ago that guy was asking when.
Yeah.
I was still on a winning franchise in Minnesota.
Were these the guys that chased you in your Subaru Forester? I think they were. I know that this is the guy that we, the on-ramp.
Yeah, classic. Yes.
Yeah.
The sigil for all Browns fans.
Yeah, he had something to say to you too.
Yeah.
I don't. What's crazy about that too? Going back to people talk about Baker Mayfield. I just looked at the most least analytical team in the league is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And Baker Mayfield looks great in Tampa.
Holy crap!
Under that organization, as Kirk Cousins throws the ball here to Kyle Pitts, almost for a touchdown. But. I know, Dad, you're not big in the analytics. DBIs, I'm curious your thoughts on this too. Just the organizational philosophy here. I think this game today showed the bigger problems in this organization, the bigger problems the Browns have going forward. A report comes out the other day this week that we're the most analytical team, and you see some of the decisions today and the game planning and stuff. I'm curious, Joe, I'll start with you. Your thoughts on the organizational philosophy with the analytics, so analytically driven. And then you see a guy like Baker Mayfield down in Tampa, who's the least analytical team. It looks like a different quarterback than when he was here.
Yeah. Analytics is only going to take you so far. It's good to have, but you also got to have that eye test. You got to have football guys within the organization. I think the Chiefs do a really good job of that. I don't know how much analytics they use, but Andy Reid is a super smart guy, and I think he does take a look at the numbers, but he also has the eyeball test, and he deciphers really well how to balance the two. In terms of how this organization is structured, well, we've been an analytics team for what, 5-6 years now, maybe
4 or 5 years.
Has it worked out? I would say we're better than where we were under Hugh Jackson, but ultimately, I think it's caused a lot of issues along the way. So I just think you got to find a good balance of the two. I think we probably run too heavy on analytics. I talked with Joe about this last week. Like, what does Paul DePodesta do? You never see the guy.
He's in San Diego all week.
Yeah,
it's a lot of Microsoft Excel.
Yeah. Apparently he has some input with the organization, maybe more than what I think, but
he has a lot.
Yeah,
that's his staff.
You need guys in the facility that know the players personally and can understand their strengths and their weaknesses, but it is also good to know the numbers, and I think maybe we just don't have that player connection as much as just crunching the numbers.
Dad?
Well, if you go back to like the Baker Mayfield thing, and it's probably like any other quarterback, any other football player, but Baker is certainly that dude. He's an overly instinctive player. Football players are instinctive. They've played the game their whole life. They're the greatest minds in football. They're pro football players. So you talk about quarterbacks. To be a quarterback in the NFL, you've had to you've had to show the ability to be able to make decisions, you know, in milliseconds to get there. So you think like Baker Mayfield and now Deshaun Watson, you take these players and you throw them in. What are they thinking when they're behind, when they're, you know, behind a snap, or, you know, when they see this play called in and they know it's the absolute wrong play? I mean, what does it do to these guys? Like these quarterbacks know what the hell to do. That's why you audible. You know what I mean? That's why they audible. You think Tom Brady or Peyton Manning or Joe Montana or Dan Marino, any of those guys, you know, was waiting on analytics, you know, before they called a different play? Hell no. They lined up and they knew what to do by looking at the defense, because it's just it's simple. It's actually really simple. But this dependence solely on analytics, you're taking the players' ability away. You know what I mean? You're basically saying, hey, we're not going to listen to you guys. I know you guys have gotten here. You've played through your whole life through college and you're pros now. No, we're going to listen to what this data says. It just to me, it's stupid. You got to rely on instincts. You use the data, probably in the film room and stuff like that. And you go to Deep Podesta, I would think probably pitch probability, you know, like what ball to throw in baseball, like what he did with, and then, you know, setting up contracts and shit with the Oakland A's. That's totally different than and he never won anything either, by the way. So it's a hell of a lot different in football. I mean, the way the game's played and how quick the decisions have to be made, and you got 11 guys on each side. This analytics shit is driving me crazy. And Jesse, you put that list out. I think it was like the top 6 or 7 teams that run on analytics had all losing records. And then the top 6 or 7 teams that did it had winning records.
Well, I mean, yeah, you didn't see the Chiefs or the 49ers in there. I mean, the Ravens were at the top of there, but I mean,
football just an instinctive. It's instinctive. You know what I mean? It's like these guys got to make decisions right then. These quarterbacks got to make. I'm going to rely on a damn quarterback. If he's good enough to be my starting quarterback, I'm going to rely on him. He's out there. He's looking at the defense. He's got the feel. He's got the temperature. That's. I don't think that goes on in Cleveland. I don't think it's ever went on with Stefanski, and I think that's why Baker. You know, he's allowed to be himself. He's allowed to shoot from the hip. He's allowed to play like Favre. You know what I mean? Which is who he is. And
they put him in the gun more in Tampa, more in the pistol. You know, because he's not a guy, and Deshaun's even like this too. They're not guys you want to put under center a whole lot, where they got to turn their back, you know, and locate coverage. You know, that's just not something they're good at. A lot of these quarterbacks nowadays are not good at as much of. So you put him in the gun, you put him in pistol, it keeps everything in front of him. And you call simple plays. You help your quarterback get rhythm. You help your quarterback get, you know, Baker did the same thing in college. He was a lot in the gun and pistol. Same thing with Deshaun at Clemson. They were very successful at it, both of them.
Look at Pittsburgh, man. Pittsburgh keeps it simple.
That's it.
Look at Justin Fields is playing pretty decent. I mean, people wrote him off, said he was a bust. We watched him at Ohio State. He has all the talent in the world. You know, he won the shitty organization, Chicago, and you see what Caleb Williams kind of looks like now too. There, it's just not a good organization. It's not a good ran organization. You look at him now in Pittsburgh; he's playing winning football. He's doing enough for them to win the game
and run heavy. They run. They've always ran,
and their players are prepared. They make sure of that.
The coach, do you ever think about calling Tomlin and picking his brain?
Well, as you guys know, the greatest game of my Cleveland Browns coaching tenure was actually the one that was against the Steelers when I had COVID and wasn't there. So if everyone could hope for maybe a temperature or something come this playoff round, we may be able to advance. That could happen again. But we're going to, like I said, we're going to plug in all this data. We're going to run the analytics. We're going to run them again. We're going to run them again. And then we're going to come up with a new game plan that nobody's going to understand and nobody's going to know. And we're going to bring it to Vegas with us next week and hope for the best.
So if we had another outbreak of a pandemic in January, you think it's possible that the Browns could actually win the Super Bowl where you were quarantined?
Not with this roster. Not with that offensive line. I'm sorry. Even
Well, and
without my
also,
presence,
the guy that
they
called the
couldn't win
plays
anything.
that night in Pittsburgh, you fired him and you brought in some other guy who
Yeah.
I don't think he has any input on any. I don't see any new changes in the offense. I mean, I don't.
And much like my offensive coordinator now, who just gets my caramel frappuccinos in the morning and doesn't do anything in calling plays, I was starting to be outshined, which I can't have happen. So I needed to make a decision. And here at the end of the day, I appreciate all your guys' fandom, but I work for the Cleveland Browns and I work for Jimmy Haslam. And if they want to continue to pay me $4 to $5 million a year to be this bad at my job and mediocre, I'm going to be at my house in Pepper Pike, rich as can be, watching your franchise burn to the ground.
Thanks, Coach.
Yeah, Coach. It's so bad, Coach. That just won New York Giants. Excuse me. Daniel Jones for 4 years, 160 is a better value than Deshaun Watson for 5 years, 250. Although I think it's like 235. But
in my analytics, I would say those are both horrible values. But based on today, I would agree with you. That's simple math I can do without even my calculator.
All right.
Pittsburgh Steelers, by the way, ran the ball 32 times and threw the ball 32 times today.
Balanced.
Look at that.
I will say the goal of my Sunday was seeing that Baker Mayfield did not win today, so that
I could
Browns
look that good
coming
today.
for me about how Baker Mayfield is 3-0. If anything, their loss should have outshined our own, which is what I was hoping for when I came up with one good drive to get us within 6 points.
Yeah. Well, Coach, you throw the ball a whole lot, and you're third to last in the league in passing yards per game. You got any words on that?
Well, it's only week 3. It's a long season. We're going to go back and run the numbers. We're going to look at the math, and we're going to concoct something that makes no sense and bring it to Vegas with us and hope for the best.
Yeah, that's going to be, my gosh. Just imagine that. And I said this for the season. I even told, remember when Anthony was up here, we did our predictions for the games. I said, I think I picked us to lose against Vegas because I thought that's just a game you go on the road, the West Coast, your first time out West this year. And Vegas at home is not a bad team sometimes. I mean, they got Max Crosby. They got Gardner Minshew's good enough to win some games. You got Devontae Adams. Tony Pierce has that locker room bought in on him. I think that next week's game is not some easy game. It never has been an easy game from the jump. And now it's even more pressure.
A lot of distractions.
Yeah.
I also have tickets to see Cher at the Sphere while I'm there.
Oh, all right. Well, yeah. So now we got that going for us too. We got guys go out, the night before and all that. So even the coach himself. So
after losing to the Giants the way they did today, being basically spotted 7 points and still losing to the Giants at home, there is no easy game on this schedule.
No.
There's not.
But Gergs, I was going to go to you, Gergs. I mean, where do they go from here? I mean, you're going on the road next week against Max Crosby. You don't know what you got in your offensive line. Jed Wills got hurt again today, but he, again, I don't want anybody to get hurt, but even when he was out there, he went great. So, again, and I got to go back to something I pointed out. When did I say? I think I said this like a month ago, Dad. We were on here with Mike. Maybe you should have gave this guy a call like a month ago. He's just sitting out there in the street, veteran, Pro Bowl left tackle who's healthy, ready to play right now. Who, even with the injury history, is still better than anybody you got on your roster right now. But no, let's not give him a call, right, AB? We got to be the smartest guys in the room all the time, and play our draft picks that are not NFL players on the offensive line right now.
That's not Moneyball.
Not money. Yeah, I mean, the analytics, don't call it David Bakhtiari. That's so. I mean, only football guys with rings would call him and then get them on their team. We don't want to do that. We want to be different, right? We want to be like Mike McDaniels down there in Miami, 0-11 in cold games. Gergs, where do they go from here? I mean, I don't. I mean, what do you do? I mean, against Vegas next week.
Well, you have to neutralize their pass rush. You have to run the ball. You have to come out and run the ball and try to be physical with them. Vegas is a physical team. They're here they just beat the Ravens last week.
Mm-hmm.
They can definitely beat this Browns team, and if you're not running the ball, and they're not going to win. They're not going to win the game because one, without Njoku, they have zero separation from anyone in their passing game. And it's just too easy to defend right now. The Browns, they're not running the ball. They're dropping back, passing at a high rate. Their offensive line sucks. They can't block. And oh, by the way, their receivers can't even separate. I mean, it is a terrible formula. They look awful. I don't know how you can sit here today and say they're going to beat Las Vegas next week. I don't know how you can, because Las Vegas just lost at home to Carolina, but by my God, you guys just lost to Daniel Jones at home. I think they're in trouble. I think this is a very, very big stretch in the next 3 games because they play teams that they should beat, and if they lose those 3 games, I think old KS is going to be
Unemployed.
oh yeah.
Yeah. Joey?
Well, somebody's going to be the scapegoat here really soon, especially if they keep on losing games. It's probably going to come down to 3 guys: Stefanski, Deshaun, or Ken Dorsey. I mean, one of those guys is going to eventually be the scapegoat if they keep losing these games. My bet is Dorsey. I don't think it's his fault, but I think they'll find a way to blame him. Kind of similar how they did to Alex Van Pelt last year. But I just think, I agree with Chris. I think we're in trouble. I mean, this is the easy part of our schedule. These first five games, we should be winning these games, and we're not. So I think we're in trouble. I mean, if we don't make any changes, we're a 7-8 win team at the end of the year.
What's your thoughts on the O line right now, Joe? I mean, Jed Wills. He's probably done. He looked like he was hurt today. He didn't come back in either. I don't think ever. So you put Joel Bitonio out there, who I love Joel, but he's old. He can't be out there in the left tackle position. He got blown by like I think it was the third play he was out there. Brian Burgess blew right by him. So I mean, what do you think of the O line? I mean, I don't know where they go with the O line. That's my biggest question: is the O line.
Yeah.
I mean, who are you putting out there? We saw James Hudson, didn't look great. Jack Conklin, we keep hearing he's going to be healthy. He's going to be ready to roll. We do nothing today. Jed Wills came out of nowhere. I mean, I don't know where they go with this O-line even. I mean, it's the left tackle position. I was second most important position out there on offense besides quarterback, and we're just rolling whoever out there at left tackle because we don't want to call guys that are available. But that's a whole other thing. What do you think about that?
No, that probably falls on Andrew Berry there. I mean, not having guys available. I mean, our O-line's been prone to guys getting hurt the last couple of years, and Berry really hasn't done a whole lot with providing much depth there. I don't know where they'll go. We'll see. I mean, doesn't look good, I'll tell you that.
Stefanski?
Just hope that Max Crosby and/or Christian Wilkes gets arrested this week for some reason. That's really what Browns fans need to hope, and Deshaun Watson definitely needs to hope, because boy, oh boy.
Well, guys, the good news is Vegas is known for having some of the best buffets anywhere in the country. So I'm going to spend the rest of my week sitting at a buffet, counting plates, and recruiting the biggest, fattest dudes that roll through those lines and throwing a helmet and pads on them and seeing if they can shuffle their feet better than Jedrick Wills. Chances are they can. And if they can, they'll be starting for us this Sunday.
Jersey?
I think it's I think the season's already over with.
Damn.
I don't think they I mean,
I wish.
I mean, I don't. I mean, what's going to change? Nothing's going to change, and it's the fancy. It's not going to be. It's not going to be Watson. It's not going to be Dorsey, because you can't. Stefanski hired Dorsey. It's the same shit. It don't matter if Dorsey's in there because this shit was going on long before Dorsey. So
Yeah, but they'll find a way to blame someone on it.
I know, but how can you do that? It's just this. It's the status quo that's been going on the entire time. And here's another thing: when you're trying to get this new stadium built, this shit can't be going on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the Haslam's, I mean, they're deep into this. I mean, this is. I guarantee you, they're more worried about that than the season. But they got to be winning games, and the people they're paying to win games aren't winning games. So it's at some point
There he is.
that hammer's coming. I just think this loss. I didn't have to watch this game, but I mean, I cannot believe how much it was gifted to them from the first play of the game, and then the fourth quarter. All of the chances they had, it was just a 3-and-out, 3-and-out, 3-and-out. It was horrific. It don't even look like you're watching a pro football team. You expect more of an NFL team.
Yeah, when Dan texted and said, you know, the Giants are a bad football team, and that's what bad football teams do, is find ways to lose. And that's why when I responded, well, that's Cleveland. Cleveland had every chance to win that game. They had every chance to win it, and they lost. I couldn't believe what I was watching, and I honestly believe that the Giants are the worst football team in the NFL. So
Worse than the Panthers?
I do. I really do. I think that the Giants are the worst football team in the NFL this year, and somehow, some way, you know, they beat the Cleveland Browns at home after being down 7-0 before anyone got to their seats. I don't get it. And it, you know, back to Joe's point, Dorsey isn't to blame, but they're not, because Stefanski's not going to fire himself. And I don't know if the Haslams, I don't know if the Haslams even care, to be honest, because if they did, I mean, they probably shouldn't have extended them.
Well, I hear when you're trying to get what, $3-4 billion? Was that what it is to build the stadium?
I think $3
billion. Oh, they care.
Yeah, but they're going to get it anyways, because at the end of the day, Browns fans are freaking crazy for their teams. They've suffered for so long, yet they're still the most dedicated fans, because I don't know. I mean, I'm a Lions fan, and up until last year, we enjoy misery. We just enjoy it.
Yeah, but they're gonna the Haslams are gonna have to go through a lot of hoops. They want to move the team out to Brook Park, and that's where all the problems are going to lie. And if you got it just makes them look terrible as owners, and maybe they are terrible. I don't know, but that you got to get people. You got, I know. Yeah, they gave you a job.
Yeah, you love them, all right.
I'm just saying. I
Fully
think
guaranteed, baby.
Yeah.
They're not making here. I'm gonna call. They're not making the playoffs. I don't even know if they win 7 games.
Not.
I don't even know if they win 7 games. That team looks
vacation booked in January.
Here, it's very early on in the season, and it's definitely a game like this is definitely cause to hit the panic button, but they can still turn it around. But they have to change their offense.
But they're not going to.
They have to.
When do they ever turn it around? They don't. This is the same team we've watched for years now.
Oh, I agree.
There's no consistency.
Hey guys, I was just trying to be nice as a fellow.
No, I know that.
I mean,
I know that. But what I'm saying is, and you'll have a week where they play pretty good. And you're like, okay, yeah, all right. Now these guys, we actually got a professional football team in Cleveland, and then next week, it looks like fucking arena football. I mean, it's terrible. There's no consistency, and that's all. That's coaching.
Yeah, Beats Grizz says, "Let's go Guardians, let's go Cavs, Browns. I'm not about to end up in a hospital from watching these god awful games every Sunday. The Browns are in trouble."
They are.
At least
They're
if
in
you do,
trouble,
there's some
man.
great hospitals locally.
There is a cultural issue in the
Yeah,
players.
Yeah, I ran some
DiBiase,
numbers.
what? Oh, go
I
ahead.
actually,
Go ahead,
The
I
Steve.
worst.
actually, I actually
What
just
what
ran some. I actually just ran some numbers. We actually ran the ball too much today, and if my calculations are correct, if I can throw it 5 more times, we may get to 19 points next week, which would be our season record.
Yeah, guys, I honestly, you know, I was trying to be nice, try to give hope to not push the panic button. But guys, the worst thing that happened to this Browns organization was Joe Flacco coming in and actually winning games to have Stefanski not get bladed last year.
Best thing that happened to me.
It
Yeah.
really truly is. It somehow set the franchise back because it might be time for rebuild because they're in trouble.
Coach, do you mow Flacco's yard?
You know, I'm just grateful to have a job at this point. We all have jobs, and if your boss comes to you and offers you more money and longer terms and a better contract for doing the same shitty job you've been doing and is going to guarantee you all the money, then why would I continue to do anything different than what I'm doing already?
Coach, are you
Yep.
guys hiring?
We're looking for offensive tackles right now.
If I could just go in and just do absolutely nothing and get paid.
We're looking for offensive tackles. Yeah, you might have to put some weight on for that. Might need to put some weight on. Maybe not. Who knows? We'll wait till the playoffs. If there is going to be one. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Joey, I got to go to you, Joe. Going to Deshaun Watson today, obviously there's been a lot of scrutiny around him, and first week wasn't great. Last week was better. Today I thought, first playoffs he was great. Then I thought it stuttered a little bit for most of the game. Then the fourth quarter found a rhythm and completed 7 straight passes and made enough plays for them to win the game. And obviously the last drop there by Tillman wasn't his fault. I'm curious, what was your thought of Deshaun today? And it kind of, my whole point, what's your thought on Deshaun today, what you saw from him, but also, especially in the fourth, but also how confident are you moving forward? Because does it really matter if he plays well or not? Because we saw he played well in the fourth quarter day in a game that was handed to him on a plate. He played well enough to win, and yet they still lost from some decision-making from the sideline.
I mean, this guy's paid as a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. I think his contract's still top 5, right?
No,
top
No,
7
not
I think.
anymore.
no.
What is he
7
now?
or
Like
8.
top
I think it's
7
like
or 8?
top 10.
Okay, he's at least a top 10 quarterback financially, and he hasn't played like a top 20. I mean, especially this year so far. I know the season's still early, but I mean, just on this game, for whatever reason, him and Stefanski cannot get on the same page. I don't know if it's more him than Stefanski or more Stefanski than him, but they just don't gel well together. I mean, Deshaun, you see flashes here and there, like in the Jacksonville game, he had a nice move, and he makes these plays that take you back to his Houston days. But overall, I'm ready to move on from him. It's been a waste of a contract, honestly. I mean, he stayed healthy, which is, what I wanted to see this year. Can he play all 16 games? But, it's been a disappointment so far. I mean, if he has 1 or 2 more bad games, I'd say pull the plug on him, if not already, but and give Winston maybe a chance.
My God.
I
So-
mean, It's
Are you
not.
out
It's
of your?
not looking good. It's not looking good either way.
I don't think you give Winston a chance. You can't.
Yeah,
You're just stuck with. You got
well,
to pay this cat, man.
B
Well,
Scrolls
we
said so much of Jameis Winston 3rd and 1.
I've never been a huge Winston guy. You know, Joe knows this. I've always been. I was a Baker guy, and then last year I really liked how Flacco played in Stefanski's offense. And we got rid of Flacco because of politics. You know, we're paying a guy $250 million, and we can't let him be the backup or have Flacco as the backup.
Joey.
Hey, and I'm saying this because for whatever reason, Flacco played a lot better in Stefanski's system than Deshaun ever has. And, you know, we've mentioned how this season may be a total loss. I'm saying it, well, for whatever reason, probably just pull the plug on Watson if he has another bad game or two. I've seen enough.
But do you think whoever they put back there with Jameis Winston or Baker Mayfield or Deshaun Watson, there's any difference in the three in the offense?
Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, fucking Johnny Unitas, Jim Otto,
hold on. You're going too far. Let's stick
or Otto Graham.
Let's stick with. Do you think there'd be a difference with Jameis, or even if you, let's say theoretically, you brought back Baker Mayfield, the way it is right now, there'd be any difference?
We don't know. I mean, we haven't seen Jameis play a full game in Stefanski's offense. I mean, Baker was middle of the road, so it would probably be a push with him. I always said, you know, it wouldn't hurt to possibly explore looking to bring Flacco back because we had success with him in the last 5-6 games of the regular season. So,
Joey, you guys played poop teams.
Who did we play today?
I said it. Well, you guys didn't even give Deshaun a chance to win the game. He's running for his life every play.
Well, that's my whole point. Is it don't matter who you put back there. The result's not going to change. The only reason why Flacco looked good in that little span and just fancy's old offense, the 90s vanilla offense, is because Flacco can play in their center. He can turn his back and he can locate cover. He is an older school quarterback and he's better mechanically than a lot of these younger guys because quarterback play nowadays is at an all-time low.
Yeah, he's a legit quarterback.
He's a legit quarterback. But Flacco can't win you multiple playoff games. That's why we get to the Houston Texans game. It's came back down to earth, and you know you're not going anywhere with that.
Here, what is
the Cleveland Browns currently? Deshaun Watson has 2 seconds to throw the ball, and unfortunately, no Browns are getting open in 2 seconds because they can't separate in 5 seconds, much less 2. So it's just an awful.
I mean, the O line, Chris, has been bad, but there are several occasions where Deshaun is just hanging on to the ball too long. He's got to get rid of it quicker.
There's nowhere to throw it, Joey, because there's no one open.
No,
because the receivers can't separate. Without Njoku, no one goes over the middle because no one can go over the middle.
It's too many long. When you have a bad O line, you keep calling those long developing routes like they're calling.
Yeah.
It don't matter. You could put Tom Brady in his prime back there. He's getting sacked 18 times for the season still. Maybe 16. Maybe I'll give him 16. Maybe because there's two plays, one today and one in the first game that I remember off the top of my head where he definitely held on the ball too long. But again, it's bad game planning. It's bad.
It's starting to get in your head too.
Right, and you haven't played football. You know, Gervin said he hasn't played a full season in what, 3 years? Or 2 years? I mean, how's he supposed to find a confidence in a rhythm? Yeah, I mean, how do you expect this guy to come off the street basically and find a confidence in the rhythm ever? I mean, I get last year wasn't anybody's fault. It was a freak accident injury, but you know, nothing you could do there. First year suspended, taken out of your hands. But again, it's just never been able to fully take off. And then when you finally have the chance to make it happen as a coach, you let your guy down. I mean, you let everybody. I mean, it's like I said, there's a reason why Baker Mayfield played better in Tampa than he did here. He is playing better there than he is here. It's because he's in a better organization. Right, exactly. He's in a better organization. Todd Bowles is a great head coach, in my opinion. Very underrated. And he just found a good offensive coordinator. He's got a great receiver, obviously, a true number one receiver, Mike Evans. Something we'd never had here in a long time as a true number one guy. I mean, Amari is great, but I don't think Amari, even his years in Cleveland, has been a true number one receiver compared to other guys in the league. We don't have that. I think, and without Nick Chubb, you're seeing how great, how valuable Nick Chubb was too. My gosh, not having Nick Chubb has just been a huge blow.
I think there's no one can be certain about any of the quarterbacks, okay? But we can be certain about this offense, this scheme, this philosophy, because it's been consistent. That's the only thing that's been consistent. Is this shitty, sputtering, bewildering offense? So if you blame a QB, you're letting this coach off the hook.
Well, not only that, going back to your first point you made earlier, how Tampa lets Baker be Baker, right? When he was in college. When everybody talked about the 2020 season he had here, that was the best season he had here, right? He was efficient, right? They made it to the playoffs. They won a playoff game. They were still 28th in passing that year attempts and passing the ball. They were 28th. That's third to last in the entire league. That was a lot of Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, Bill Callahan in the run scheme and the O-line. The defense made plays they needed to, and Baker did his job that year. He was a good manager and stepped up at times. I remember the Bengals game where I think he cleared like 23 passes in a row, had an unbelievable game, came back and won the game. But you see him in Tampa, he just looks like another level because he's just in a more comfortable situation. They allow him to play to his skill set. He's able to develop. He was able to develop as a player. He's able to catch a confidence as a player again. Because remember when he left the Browns and he left the Panthers, a lot of people wrote him off, said he was done. He was a bust. But he found a good footing somewhere in a good organization that knows how to play winning football. And they happen to be the most least analytical team in the league. So I got to give a shout out real quick. Oh, go ahead, Gert. Shout out to my old ex-teammate, my national championship team, Bryce, my fellow guard. The O-line definitely did fall off since last year. It's a mixture of
Bryce,
things.
can you play Sunday?
Yeah, Bryce.
Bryce, get you seated up, dude, like we used to. Come on.
Yeah, Bryce.
Be at Akron, Canton to head to Breeze to Vegas.
Yeah, Bryce, I'm about to go back at center. You're going to put you back at right guard, and we'll go out there and kick some ass like we used to.
Don't worry, you're only pass blocking.
Oh, we can run block too. We like run blocking. We like to get yeah. We're not be doing a lot of run blocking in his scheme.
Yeah,
but it's just a tough loss when it's the
only Jameis does runs.
Yeah, for sure. And go check out Bryce on Twitch as well. He's gaming. Go check him out on Twitch.
Joey, the Browns just lost to a team that last week were the first team in NFL history to score 3 touchdowns and not allow a touchdown and still lose.
I love math facts like that.
I think that the Giants
I love math.
NFL. They
love math facts.
And here's another thing. In 59 minutes against the New York Giants, after minute 1, when they were
more numbers,
they scored 8 points in 59 minutes against the New York Giants. That is awful. That's awful. Someone should get fired tonight.
I agree.
In my opinion.
Coach, I just got a message that says on Mondays, instead of watching game film, you guys do flashcards. Is that accurate?
Flashcards, timetables, a couple rounds of Tetris, whatever's getting our mind really set for battle that week.
Hey, Coach, there's a rumor that in Berea, your guys' advanced analytical department, that 2 + 2 actually equals 5 in Berea. Is that true?
We do have our own version of math. We haven't completely changed the arithmetic, but there are some things that only us in that room would ever truly understand.
Oh, so you guys are much smarter than a lot of us just dumb fans, right? I mean,
well, like I'd mentioned, I did go to the University of Penn, Ivy League. I'm a multimillionaire. I'm 2-time coach of the year, and I don't expect anyone to understand really what's going on. And in fact, I hope that I get fired because I'm already paid for the next 3 years.
So
Coach,
it's not. So it's not math. It's magic.
It's a little bit of everything.
Hey, Coach, how come you're? How many years and money did you get on your contract? Never got disclosed publicly. You got any comment on that?
It actually depends on how much I actually run the ball versus pass the ball. So it's a floating algorithm.
Oh.
So let's just say in these first 3 weeks, I've been bonusing pretty heavy.
Yeah, we could tell.
Coach, it's all with everything you're saying. It really made me think of, I manage sales department. I manage a sales department in a dealership. I've been in the car business going on 18 years now. The one thing we always run across is, the customers just want us to defy the laws of mathematics. Can you do this for me? I have 5 of these atrocious large SUVs on my lot that are over 300 days old. They're just rotting. They're $75,000 MSRPs. Is there a way that you can figure out that I could deliver those to a customer for $300 a month with no money down?
That would be very tough. But I think you just described our offensive line.
Yeah.
We got a whole line of our mom.
They're slow moving units, and really, the good news is, being the head coach of the Cleveland Browns, I have the best customers, which is all you fans. And all you fans really don't care about the product that we ever put on the field, because next Sunday you'll be back and you'll be buying the beer and the hot dogs and tailgating and watching and letting it consume your entire Sunday, despite whatever shitty, mediocre product we deliver. So let's just lie in the fact that I am better than Hugh Jackson, and I am the 2-time coach of the year. And until I'm gone, I'm paid and I'm here. So continue to watch the team go into ruins with the best roster that's ever existed in Cleveland Browns history.
Yeah.
Coach, would it be fair to say that you guys are the worst team in the AFC North again?
Well, I don't know. The team down there in Cincinnati is pretty bad too. Jeez.
That remains to be seen. That remains to be seen. We do, sometimes the math does work out and we do show flashes of brilliance, and sometimes even I can't completely destroy the athleticism that lies on our roster, and we do occasionally win a game. Mostly I try not to, but sometimes the athletes do overthrow that and we do get some wins and show up occasionally. So,
Coach, are you intimidated by Vrabel's masculinity?
Mike's certainly a large man, not a big math guy, very large man. Luckily, I have bosses that care way more about math than football acumen, so I really don't fear for my job now. And since I've been extended, I really don't even care about it.
You don't think he's a big math guy? He did go to Walsh Jesuit. I mean,
what?
Oh, did it really?
Yeah. Yeah, he went to Walsh Jesuit. I mean, he might
have had a gifted schedule.
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead, Jersey. Were you going to ask something?
Why don't we open up the hotline?
Oh, yeah. Good idea. Yeah, good idea. He beat me to it.
The request lines are now open. KGFJ Soul Radio.
Yeah, call into the show now. 216-532-5550. You can call in. Give us your take on today's game. We have a question for Kevin Stefanski. Call in right now. Again, 216-532-5550. Call in now.
Mike Antonace, please hit the hotline. I need some support up here.
Yeah. Yeah. Mike says he's at a birthday party in Youngstown tonight. He can he's MIA.
Birthday party on Sunday night.
Yeah. Yeah. Chris, I got to go back to what you said earlier. You said this thing could be on the verge of a rebuild.
Oh, it is.
If that is the case, Chris, I mean, when do you eventually? What will be the first move you would make? Obviously, I would think you're probably would say fire Stefanski, but what do you do with Deshaun Watson at that point? Do you just move on and try to go draft a quarterback? I mean, where do you go?
Well, again, my number one thing, and I said this, I don't even know, last year, would be to fire Stefanski and bring in a real coach like Harbaugh, because Harbaugh has taken a much less talented roster and is 2-1 right now in Los Angeles. But, so my number one thing is maybe try to bring in Vrabel, see if the team rebounds, have Dorsey call the plays, see if they can actually make a run out of this season. But if not, if you're truly going with Stefanski, then yeah, I mean, you're going to have to try to find the quarterback of the future, because it's definitely not Jameis Winston. It's clearly not Watson with Stefanski. There's zero. I mean, these guys must hate each other behind closed doors.
Just to be clear, guys, the reason that I bring Jameis Winston in for the 3rd and 1 sneak, and that's the only play you see him run, is that's the only play he knows.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, and so I just, I mean, you got to look quarterback round 1 next year. You have.
We call it crab legs from the sideline. We just call crab legs, and he just runs in.
Crab legs. Yep.
You have to. You have to look at quarterback. But I just don't know how many. I just think to myself, I haven't looked at any of these last 3 games this year and thought the reason why they lost the game is Watson. Game 1, yeah, he didn't have the greatest game, but I went on record and saying Patrick Mahomes wouldn't have won that game. I don't think he's the reason for any losses this year. He's running for his life. He's been sacked 18, 19 times.
18 times this season.
Yeah, 18 times this season.
8 of them today.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
numbers.
It's just clear that if you're going to use Watson as a scapegoat as a fan base, you just want him gone in the first place. So, yeah, I would say moving on from him is the first thing to do.
Yeah,
It has to be done. I mean, it's
probably
the
the best, to be honest
thing.
with you. The ones that like him probably just need him to do anyways, because it's probably the best thing for his career to get out of Cleveland anyways.
Yeah.
Are you talking about me or Deshaun?
Deshaun, not you.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
I was gonna say,
Yeah,
I'll gladly leave now that I've signed my extension.
Joey, I'll go to you actually, Joey. I mean,
would you trade Bryce? Would you trade, if you were the Cleveland Browns, would you trade Deshaun Watson for Bryce Young?
Not a chance in hell.
no, because I don't think Bryce Young's an NFL quarterback. Not skill set wise, I just don't think he's tall enough. I think he's too. And the Panthers mishandled him. I think they might have.
I'm not talking to you uneducated people. I'm talking to the Penn grad over here, Coach Stefanski.
We'd have to run the numbers. We'd have to run the numbers on that and see if it made any sense. And then if it doesn't make sense, we'll do it.
All right. Sorry, I thought you were talking to the others on the panel. My bad. But
we did pay Jerry Jeudy $20-some million a year, so anything's possible.
Yeah, we pay guys for they show us what they are.
Yeah,
that's a good philosophy, right, Coach?
Yep. I spoke to Cedric Tillman after the game. We were really hoping this year that Cedric was going to take our spot on the team as the newest Hollywood Higgins, and he certainly has. He gets everybody hyped up in preseason and then shits the bed in the regular season.
Yeah. Gosh. What was I going to ask? I was going to ask you, Joe. What did you think of the defense today, Joe? In the second half, the first half obviously was awful. I'm just curious how you thought they were, as a fan, how you thought they responded in the second half. I mean, they did help their offense out a little bit. I don't think you can blame this whole game on a lot of this game on the defense. I know some people were pissed at the defense as well, but I'm just curious your thoughts on the defense today overall.
Yeah, I mean, the defense really can't catch a breath. I feel like they're on the field. I don't know what the percentage is, but I feel like they're on the field 70% of the time.
That's close.
The offense just can't do anything, and the defense is probably out of breath. I mean, there's a lot of things that you'd like them to clean up. I thought our secondary was pretty weak today. Emerson looked pretty bad, to be honest with you. But I mean, you can make the case they're just on the field too much. Myles Garrett has these games where he'll just disappear. I know he wasn't 100% going in, and then hopefully he's all right after this game. But I don't know. It seems like we don't have a great pass rush. Schwartz is probably, I don't know. I'm neutral on him. I mean, I don't think he's been great, but I don't think he's been terrible, just given the circumstances. So I'm gonna let the defense slide for a while. I mean, especially after today, but I think there's definitely a lot of things we can clean up.
Yeah, not only that, too, they said after the game today, Myles Garrett was limping to the podium. He went in the blue tent 2 times today. He's dealing with a leg injury and a foot injury. So now you got that to contend with, too. We don't know what Myles' status is going to be week to week.
One step closer to Coach of the Year again.
Yeah. Coach, what's your how do you think? What's your philosophy going to be this year to get that award again? I mean, you got some tough obstacles to overcome this year compared to last year.
Get through some injuries, take advantage of some other teams' injuries. Hopefully, get to play against a bunch of teams, back up third-string quarterbacks the remainder of the year again. Get the team firing on all cylinders. Get 24 back, get 85 back, and really ramp it up to just finish barely 9-8, sneak into the wild card, and get blown out.
So that's the goal every year. Just as long as we get to the wild card, don't matter if we win or lose, right?
Yeah, to be honest, I actually prefer that we don't go far in the playoffs. I plan my trip for the Baccarat convention in Bermuda every year in late January that I go down there with the family. So I hope to not even be in season. It really doesn't pay much more, and I'm already fully guaranteed anyway. So I hope to be off by then.
And the Haslam's, they're cool with that. As long as they get that playoff revenue, that's all that they're cool with that.
As long as they're making money, they're good. They're
Okay.
good.
All right. Okay. Oh boy. Looking at the next week, real quick, we get out of here. Gergs, what's your predictions for right now, starting on this Sunday, or let me talk tonight, as of right now? What's your prediction for next Sunday in the Raiders game?
Christian Wilkes breaking Deshaun Watson's collarbone.
Oh, geez. That's your prediction.
Vegas 21, Browns 13.
We can't get more than 20 points.
Haven't yet.
Yeah, haven't yet.
Yeah,
we're working on it though.
Yeah. Let's hope it's this week. Joey?
I'm going to say the Browns are going to win. I think they'll bounce back. We were kind of counting them out after week 1, and then they surprised me in Jacksonville. I thought they were going to, drop to 0-2 in Jacksonville, and, I think it's going to be a similar situation this week. I don't know what the score will be. It will probably be low scoring just because our offense can't seem to score more than 30 points.
30. You mean 20?
No. I know that. I said they can't score more than 30.
Well, they can't score 20 either.
In 2 weeks.
Yeah, well, that too. I think they'll score 24. We'll say the Raiders will get 17.
Jersey?
I think they get their ass beat. I think they lose by. I say they lose by at least 2 touchdowns. I mean, look at their offensive line. You're going against Max Crosby. I mean, it's pretty. I mean, why would you think anything different? The question is, what's the over/under on the sack count? How many times does Watson get sacked next week? I'd say. I mean, he's tracking to be sacked 103 times this year. So we're going to stick with it. He's going to be stacked, or he's going to be sacked at least 6 times.
Before I turn over to the coach here to give his prediction on his beautiful game plan next Sunday, I'm going to go. I picked the Raiders to win this game before the season. I know there's no reason for me to change that today. I have no reason to not change that. I'm going to say the Raiders win 31, Browns 17. And I'll say my old teammate Trey Tucker scores a touchdown for the Raiders.
Got one today.
Got one today. Shout out to Trey. I'm with you guys. I just don't see the O-line's going to be with the personnel we have available to us. against Max Crosby, who I don't know if there's any player in the NFL that doesn't play as hard every single play than Max Crosby. He never
Right.
takes a play off. And that's not a good recipe for us right now to go against. So, yeah, I'm going to take that. And Damian Pierce just plays. The team's bought in on him. They have a style. They have an identity. They're young, but they're growing. They got Devontae Adams. They got Trey. They got on the outside Jacoby Myers, some other guys. Brock Bowers, excuse me. Brock Bowers is playing pretty good. He had a good game last week.
I think they'll end up starting Aiden O'Connell too next week. They pulled Gardner Minshew today.
But O'Connell's won games for them last year, so
Yep.
he's comfortable in that system. I think they're one of those teams. They're like 500, but they're scrappy. They're competitive. They got good defense and stuff. So,
and they're going to be focused coming off of a horrible loss too.
Right, and they beat the Ravens already, so they're confident. They beat an actual good team in this league so far this year. So at home, I just don't. All you're going to hear all week from the Brown side is just it's going to be people in the media going after Watson again. Talking about the contract, and then it's going to be this whole war. We're going to be in a cold war again with the Stefanski people versus the non-Stefanski people. It's going to be a chaotic week on the Browns media side of it. The players are going to hear a lot of it. They're going to be asked questions all week. I just don't know how. I mean, you're 0-2 at home to start the season. I don't. I mean, they got booed all game today, pretty much until the fourth quarter.
Scored 8 points in 59 minutes.
Yeah, I mean that's terrible. And now we're going to go out west in Vegas and try to win a game. I mean, maybe it's what's best for the team to get away, but I just the identity's not going to change. Their philosophy, the personnel doesn't mix with the formula they're trying to put out on the field, and that's the problem. Yeah, they might peel a game here and there, another Jacksonville kind of game here and there, but they barely beat Jacksonville. I mean, that was a miraculous finish in itself. So they have not looked dominant at one quarter this whole season at all. And how many quarters? 12 quarters. They haven't looked dominant one time. So I'm picking the Raiders. Coach Stefanski, I'm curious as a coach, you don't really give your prediction of the game, but how confident are you in your group turning around next week there in Vegas?
We're going to go back to the data. We're going to go back to the tape. We're going to go back to the data again, then back to the data again, and then rerun the data, put it in the calculator, run the data again, and come ready to play next week. Have faith. We get a win in Las Vegas. Las Vegas is a town of gambling. Take the under on the points. Take the under on the rushing attempts. Take the over on the passing attempts. Take the over on the Jameis Winston quarterback sneaks. And take the over on the brain-dead calls that you see coming from the sidelines. But as you guys know from my tenure already, I don't let the season get too far away from me. We like to bounce back and keep it even keeled just to keep you guys interested long enough and keep me in the Coach of the Year race. We will get a win, be back to 2-2. We rarely get blown out, and we never blow anyone out. So you know the score is going to be within 6 or 7 points consistently. And hopefully if our kicker shows up and makes some kicks, we can sneak one out. Browns, 20. Highest score of the year, Raiders 17.
Coach, let me ask.
Go ahead.
Coach, I got a really important question. Being that you're going to be in Vegas, is it possible that you could get some of the data from the slot machines?
Yes, I'm actually in a blackjack tournament. Me and Dee Podesta both are in there. High-end blackjack tournament we waited all year for. We are professional card counters. We have all of it, data down to a point, and that's one of the highlights of our trip, actually. Win or lose, it's a win for us. Just to be in the tournament and playing blackjack.
So this is a trip on just based on data. This is a date. I mean, slot machines. I mean, if you're ever looking for the numbers.
Yes, all the numbers, all the algorithms. I hope to learn something about the game of football from a random pit boss.
Gotcha.
Is it safe? Some of your time this week in the game playing for this game taken away for preparing for that tournament next week?
You know, football, since I've re-signed the extension and my contract's fully guaranteed and I've been rewarded with incredible mediocrity, football's come second in my life now. Oh. Now whatever happens, happens, and whatever happens to the franchise and the games on Sundays, I really try not to make it too big a part of my life because I'm fully guaranteed and I'm the 2-time Coach of the Year.
Well, Kevin, if you make it third priority, I may pick the Browns to win the game next week.
As long as you take the under on the score, you got a shot.
Is it safe to say I should take the under on 6.5 carries?
I would take the over on the 6.5 carries because I count on at least giving 3 of those to Jameis in an odd situation that everyone expects.
All right. All right.
Coach, what percentage of the players can do multiplication flashcards?
It's all the special teams guys. Definitely, that's why they're on the team, and about half the offense and defense.
Coach, what's your score on the Wonderlic?
No quarterbacks.
Coach, what's your score on the Wonderlic?
I was a 34 on the Wonderlic at Penn.
Okay. All right. Was that good or bad?
It's fairly good. Fairly good. Same as Tom Brady.
Okay. All right. Do you think you'll have the same hardware as Tom Brady?
And the combined score of Jameis and Deshaun.
Oh, yeah. Do you think you'll have the same hardware as Tom Brady one day?
As far as what? Hopefully to be a commentator,
Reigns.
maybe.
No, Reigns.
Oh, football. No. I don't even really like football anymore.
Coach.
Okay.
Coach of the years. What if you had 7 coach of the years?
You know, that could be possible, but that's a lot of wild card losses.
Coach, how do you feel about Mike last year saying that Kevin O'Connell is not even close to the coach you are, yet it's taking you well less talented Minnesota team to 3-0?
I thought it was a wild prediction. Not quite as wild as us going 13-4 this year, which is going to be an uphill battle for us. But I've never known myself to be the best coach named Kevin. That's for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, last week Mike said he was still confident in getting 13-4. I'm curious what that number is today. Do you guys got any predictions, Coach? Maybe what that number might be.
I was hoping he would call into the hotline. Knowing Mike, he's actually moved it up, and we're going to go 15-2.
Yeah. We're gonna win every game. Oh man. Oh boy. Okay, last question, roundtable here. Do you think Kevin Stefanski lasts the whole season? If not, when do you think he gets replaced and by who?
Let me start. I hope not, and hopefully after next week, because I'd love to hang out in Vegas for a few weeks.
And your contract's fully guaranteed.
Fully guaranteed, baby. I'll take a couple years off and reemerge on Yahoo's sports fantasy show in the mornings.
Joey, I'll start with you. What do you think?
I think if they will fire Stefanski, it will be in the off season. Yeah, I think they'll ride him through the whole year.
Not the whole year.
The whole year.
Too cold. I hope not.
Is the question, should they or will they?
Do you think he gets fired this year?
Unfortunately not. But obviously if he does, the head coach will go to Vrabel. They will replace him with Vrabel and see how that works out. But
Jersey?
No, he doesn't make it. When you got Vrabel sitting there, he doesn't make it. I mean, why would you do that? You might as well just get him in there. And the players in the offseason were ranting and raving about Vrabel in practice. So,
and Vrabel's not really involved on game day, too. They made that known.
well, of course, then he don't have to take any of the blame.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So it's obvious he's not involved. So no, I don't think they wait. I don't think they wait.
I mean, they're already paying guys for not working here anyways. What does it matter if you add one more to the list?
That's what
right.
I said.
What is it? What are they going to $15 million?
Yeah,
they got to pay that dude. So they don't care. What's that? $15 million is nothing.
Right, ain't shit.
I wish they thought that way.
Yeah.
I actually brought I'm bringing an extra suitcase with me to Las Vegas in anticipation that if Aiden O'Connell beats us by 20 points, that I'm just going to stay out there for a little while and golf.
Are you going to make sure he beats you by 20 points?
You know, if we're going to lose, we might as well lose ugly. And back-to-back Aiden O'Connell and Daniel Jones might be the final blow to get me into retirement for a few years.
Coach, one question for you. Where do you see yourself being the quarterback's coach at in the next couple of years?
I'm hoping something with a light schedule, not a lot of criticism and a lot of analytics. Maybe a Brown or a Penn or something Ivy League where no one really questions what I'm up to in there.
Okay.
You think you can maybe take a high school job locally? I mean,
No, I don't love football. No, I don't love football enough to coach high school. I just
Oh, all right. Just
the
wondering.
passion's gone now that I've been paid.
Yeah, I mean, you probably aren't a better coach than Tim Terrell or Nate Moore, anyways. But
I don't even know who those guys are because I don't follow really football. So
yeah, that's.
I'm more of a Dungeons and Dragons guy. I play chess, Dungeons and Dragons, Galaga, a lot of those things, some Madden simulations and stuff against computers, obviously.
Yeah. What's your record against computers?
You know what? I haven't finished many games with my style offense. I usually end up quitting in the third quarter when we're losing by 3 touchdowns.
Oh shit. Okay. Anybody got any last words before we get out of here? Coach, you got any last remarks you want to give to what's your words to the Cleveland fan base right now after this horrific
Cleveland
loss
fans,
today?
hang in there. I'm the 2-time coach of the year, and you've had way worse than me. And regardless of how bad it ever gets, I'll see you next Sunday.
Anybody, Gergs, you got any closing remarks?
Lions 2-1. They looked good today. Ran the ball down their throats, and ready for another win next Monday on Monday Night Football against the 3-0 Seahawks.
Okay, Joe, you got anything else on the way out of here?
Bill Belichick is available.
All right. Well, Joe, I appreciate you coming on tonight, brother. Your first time. Look forward to have you back on anytime. We'll see you in the next one, dude.
All right.
Thanks,
Appreciate
dude.
it.
See you tomorrow, man.
Yes, sir.
All right. Gergs, appreciate you coming on again, brother. We got our 4 guys we usually have on a lot. Yeah. So your Lions got the dub today, 2-1. So we'll see who do they play next? You said Seattle?
Yeah, at home in Monday Night Football.
Yeah, they'll probably be 3-1. So, oh yeah. By the way, I got what was your take on the game last? I know we have Stefanski up here. We also have a Buccaneers fan too. That game last week. What happened in that game last week? People were wondering, against the Buccaneers.
Just uncharacteristic. Just into the first half, we ran out of time. We
ran the ball too much.
No, we ran out of time. We got a penalty with 9 seconds left because we didn't know. Just uncharacteristic mistakes. Dan Campbell afterwards said that one was on me.
Not a big math guy.
Our offense has sputtered in the last, the first 2 weeks of the game. Even today didn't look great. But I think that's what happens when no one plays the preseason. I mean, we had pretty much every player offensively other than Jameis Winston not playing the preseason, and I think it's showing, in the first 3 games. But one thing is for sure, the Cardinals have scored 25 plus or more points in the first 2 games. We held them to 13 today. And our defense has actually looked pretty darn good this year, which
Aiden Hudson was like, he's really taking. I think he's taking a step more.
6.5 sacks so far this year.
Yeah.
What I was worried most about, which was our defense, they're showing that they've gotten better, and really I know once the Lions figure this out, they'll string some win-togethers, and it's nice to see San Francisco at 1-2. They lost today to the Rams. I can't believe the Vikings are 3-0. But here the NFC North is a pretty strong division with Minnesota right now 3-0, Green Bay's 2-1, and we're 2-1. So we'll see what happens. But I'm confident in our offense that they'll turn it around, and it was a good start today, seeing them run the ball 40 sometimes and just oppose their will. That's to me, that's just the best kind of football is to, hey, we're going to run the ball and there's nothing you're going to do about it.
Does Baker Mayfield, the Buccaneers, worry you down the road in the playoffs again?
No, we beat them last year. I'm not too concerned. Like I said, we had every opportunity to win that game. I give I give the Bucks credit and Baker credit, whatever, but he no, they're not beating us in the playoffs.
Okay. Well, Chris, appreciate you coming on again. You got any last remarks here with Kevin Stefanski or anybody?
No.
No. All right. We'll see you the next one. We'll see you next week, Chris.
See ya.
See you, Chris.
Kevin Stefanski, you got any last remarks here? Do you want to tell people maybe why the data says they should subscribe?
The data definitely says you subscribe, if not for the great sports content, but for all the mental health, anxiety content that Joseph puts on this channel, which is extremely beneficial to a ton of people. And all joking aside, obviously, I'm not in character as Kevin Stefanski anymore, but definitely like and subscribe to the show. We plan on doing this all the time. And as Cleveland sports fans, there is a never-ending stream of content that we will have for our entire lives, regardless of which franchise we're talking about, just based on the teams we follow. So please like and subscribe. Tune in, watch us, win or lose, every Sunday, and check out Joe's other podcast as well.
Do you want to go ahead and plug your podcast?
We're not ready yet, but pretty soon we will be. We'll be officially launching the Girl Dad podcast on TikTok. We're moving over to TikTok and doing that. The girls are actually, while I'm out of town, doing some content now for the page and stuff to try to get followers and stuff. But completely different show than this one, but other stuff too, and just great time that I get to spend with my daughters doing some stuff and creating some memories. So good stuff there too.
All right. Well, thank you, Kevin. Make sure you go check them out on TikTok, the Girl Dad Podcast. Go give them a follow. Great content. It'll be a lot of fun. Thank you, Kevin Stefanski.
No problem at all. I wasn't doing anything, and I certainly wasn't studying anything about football.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, Kevin Stefanski. We'll see you next week. Hopefully after, by your words, a loss. So
See you, dude.
See you guys.
See
you guys.
Well, Dad, that was a fun show tonight after a bad loss today. Watching that. Any last remarks you want to like, subscribe, and share?
That's here. Tonight was a good reason why. Even after Browns loss, we can deliver some humor, some laughter. There's always good in everything, and we found it. So,
Yeah.
If you like Kevin Stefanski, we're gonna have other people coming on, other characters coming on that just going to make the show that much better. So it's a great job by Joseph. He just does a great job really producing it, thinking, developing it and envisioning it. So it's growing. If you saw the numbers across the board as far as views and not just on the sports content, but the mental health content, which is more important. Yeah, you'd actually be astonished. We're actually, because of the vision and development of it and the content, and the guests that come on, pulling some great ratings, better than some pro athletes have their own, ex-pro athletes have their own shows. So just keep hopping on, and we try to make it enjoyable for everyone, and everyone can get on and have their opinion. So we encourage it. So like, subscribe, share it, and I hope everybody has a good week, and go Knights.
Go Knights. That's what I say. Go Knights. Go Hoban Knights.
Go Hoban Knights.
Got the dub this past week against Ignatius. Got Mount Vernon of Illinois this week. That'll be interesting to see. So looking forward to
the Walsh the week after. Looking forward to that one.
Big one. Yeah. So all right. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. And we'll see you guys next one. We're out of here. Go.